Hey guys, welcome back to another Near Protocol update video. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about some of the decentralization of the Near protocol, which is the chunk only producer validator, which is coming very soon. So I will actually circle back to this article. I've actually never made any videos about how the Near protocol works. So we'll kind of touch on that first, and we'll talk about Nightshade. So as we know, Near protocol, which I have talked about, is a proof of stake type of cryptocurrency, and it uses a mechanism called sharding. So sharding, in a nutshell, we'll talk about the background to it. But instead of having to have the entire blockchain downloaded to your device or node, the way that they are, working this, and there's a lot of pros to it, it's the way that Ethereum is moving. Actually, you actually just have a shard, or maybe like a tenth of the blockchain stored and validated on your node or computer. So that is, in a nutshell, how the Near protocol works. So let's check out this article. It breaks it down even better. So the introduction, it's well known that Ethereum, kind of like we talked about, is very good. It's the gold standard, but there's a lot of cons to it. And one of those being is the transactions per second. It can't do that much. So it's about 20 transactions per second. And that is something that we can actually check live. So here is the live Ethereum TPS. And as you can see right now, it's doing 51, which is actually quite high, and then 32. But every 10 to 20 seconds, this will update. And normally it's not this high. So the average is, so there we go, 5 TPS. That is more something that we are used to seeing. Is that 10 to 15 TPS range is something that Ethereum can do. And it kind of ebbs and flows with the gas as well. And this is another problem that Near solves, is the gas prices of Ethereum. Right now, they're very low, and that's just because it's not being utilized as much. But, in the peak, in the bull cycle, the gas prices were very high. So what Ethereum is trying to do is what Near protocol is, working ahead with, and that's sharding. So when they do start sharding, Ethereum will increase their transactions per second from the current 12 to 15 transactions per second to, in theory, over 100,000 transactions per second. So it will be very beneficial for Ethereum, and that is where the Near protocol is right now. So that's kind of what this talks about, is just giving a little bit of basics. So sharding basics. So the simple approach to sharding, it's instead of running one blockchain, you run multiple, and each one is a shard. So each shard has its own set of validators, which is good, and that's how you prove the blockchain to be correct. So I'll kind of skip over this. They go into some very heavy detail about sharding, which I think is a little outside of the scope of this video. So I'll get into where it really gets interesting and important for most people, and that's Nightshade. There we go. So from shard chains to shard chunks. So the sharding model with shard chains and a beacon chain is very powerful, but has complexities. So the fork choice rule needs to be executed in each chain separately, and the beacon chain must be built differently and tested differently. So they kind of talk about how Nightshade, the upgrade, does that, which is very ideal to the high TPS and the malicious actors, making sure that they don't ruin the blockchain. So that's what this article goes into, and they do a very good job, very technical job of breaking that down. There's a picture every now and again, but I won't get into that for this video. So now we'll circle back to the decentralization, introducing chunk only producers. So it's been a year since Near's official mainnet launch, and with it, the proliferation of the Near validator community. The Near network is now secured by 100 validators. However, the roadmap sets out more ambitious goals to decentralize Near and keep the network secure. And that's why we're excited to announce chunk only producers, a new way for our community to take part in securing and further decentralizing the Near protocol. So chunk only producers, what are? So they're solely responsible for producing chunks or part of the block from a shard. See Nightshade for more details, which we just talked about. So in one shard partition of the network, because chunk only producers only need to validate one shard, they can run the validator node on a 4-core CPU with a lot less hardware requirements, than being an actual near protocol validator. So that is what chunk only producers are. And they receive at a minimum 4.5% annual rewards, which isn't too bad at all, if less than the 100% of the tokens on the network is staked. So that is it. As of right now, the current plan is to onboard about 200 to 400 chunk only producers. It's got a low barrier to entry, so I think that will happen relatively quickly. But in summary, guys, that is what a chunk only producer is. The first step is having a proof of stake blockchain. The next step is something like Nightshade, which introduces sharding, which breaks the blockchain into, let's just say, 10 different segments. And the next is the chunk only producers, which is, someone who is producing a chunk of the shard. So that is how Near is scaling and becoming very, very efficient. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one.